Hi, I'm so excited to be here to talk about unlocking your manifesting potential with the new moon in Taurus. We're a little bit early for that. The new moon in Taurus isn't until next week, but I wanted to offer some tips and guidance for how to work with the new moon early enough that you have a chance to watch this, practice on your own, and watch it again before the new moon actually arrives next week. So I'm Shelley Poovey. Hi. Happy to be here representing healing crystals as an expert in alchemy and manifestation. You might have seen me presenting recently on some of the work that I do, working a lot with how to direct your awareness and attention by meditating on intentions and working with developing your energy anatomy, your energetic field, your electromagnetic field, your sphere of consciousness, however you want to think about it. You, across all planes and dimensions of reality, cultivating your power and potential as a creator of your reality through meditation, visualization, and discipline practice, and how to get in conversation with those amazing universal forces in a way that feels empowering and helps you feel more confident navigating your way through life. So in this particular Facebook presentation, hello Facebook land, we're going to be talking about how to harness your manifesting potential working with the moon cycles. So I could talk forever and ever about that in a general way, but instead I'm going to focus and pull it all down into the specific concept of a new moon meditation. And the upcoming one is the energy of Taurus, the influence of Taurus. And I'm going to be talking about my specific, unique way of working with manifestation. So I'll just preface everything by saying I am in no way an astrologer. My practices and disciplines are all in consciousness work. So we look at the field of vibration within ourselves and how that's in conversation with the vibrational frequencies in the universe. At a local level, at a global level, as consciousness, as information, and how are we taking that in and using it, and how can we improve our understanding of that and our connection to it. So, hi everybody, starting to tune in. Hi Christina, hi Julia, coming in from all over. I'm in New York, by the way, New York City. I have a wellness practice here. I've been living in New York City since 2000, so I've been here for almost 17 years. So happy to be here, and just give me a shout out as you join in. And if you have any questions at all, just type that into the comments. You'll notice with this post I have a little bit of information about how to find out more about my work, how to find me on healing crystals, how to learn more about the moon meditations, and then the system that I've created to work specifically with the co-creative forces and developing your consciousness. Hi Christina from Austin. So developing your consciousess to work with self-mastery. So manifestation and alchemy are tools that you can work with to develop yourself, to become your own teacher, your own guide, to become empowered, to become autonomous, to become sovereign, and to really start to bring all of the resources that you have together to have an empowered relationship with your life. So the system that I've created really is just a system that helps create a container for you to work with in a practical way. I call it the RHM, or the Radiant Human Meditation, and it's really about hi Janet from Las Vegas. It's really these practices are really just ways to tap into universal consciousness in a practical and grounded way. So going to talk a little bit about Taurus and the new moon a little bit later. I just want to give you a little bit of a framework of the RHM. And it is working with the universe as a field of information and vibrations. And what I found that is the most powerful framework to give us the results that we need. I'm really into like practicality, working with process that gives you results that you can really work with and really get engaged with life. This takes it out of the abstract, mystical, intangible realm. Hi, Sansu. Takes it out of that mystical, intangible realm and really puts it in your hands. So what I've found is working with the universe through 5 planes of reality. So we work with the mundane, mainstream reality, consensus reality. The second plane of reality is the subtle energies. So some of us are connected to that a little more clearly, and some of us aren't. That's why they're called subtle energies. You know what, Nathan? I think the light, you say I look tired. Thank you. The lighting in here is not that great. It's dark here in New York. But I swear to you, I've got lots of light coming down. I'm feeling great. Thank you, Nathan. So we've got the second plane of reality, the subtle energies. The third plane is the sacred geometry and the structures that can help organize our energy. So we can work with any structures at all that might be the right architecture to come in and work with in any particular moment. So for the moon sessions, when I do a session, we'll call the universal co-creative forces will come in and make a suggestion. You know, let's work with you know, the Shri Yantra. Let's work with the vortex of the sacral chakra. It'll come in that way. We have the fourth plane of reality, which is on these sort of universal archetypes. So for the moon sessions, we're working a lot with the archetypes of the planets, the constellations, and you know, we can work with the archetypes of the psyche in these abstract ways of our archangels, ascended masters, people who've lived and have made an imprint on our world. So artists or poets or saints. So those become archetypes that kind of live in our collective consciousness that we can draw on for resources. So that's our fourth plane. And then the fifth plane of reality is sort of that universal vibration that all things are manifest from. You can call that universal consciousness or universal love. So what I found is working with observing within each of these 5 planes of reality, 3 dimensions within each that become little chords that you can affect change by working within one. You can affect change in other, and then extending beyond the 5 planes of perceivable reality into beyond what even our subtle senses could even know. So we're really working in that multidimensional plane. Now that may sound like a little bit complicated, and it took me a really long time to kind of sort it out. But what I found was really, for me as the facilitator, to work in that structure way gave really great results for the practitioners. So as a practitioner, you don't need to know any of that stuff. You just need to breathe and focus, and we're going to work with an intention. So that's what we do with the moon sessions. I'm going to look down at my notes here, make sure I'm not skipping anything. So yeah, this work was kind of channeled and brought in through some sort of spontaneous remembering, a spontaneous guidance into working with this, and I think it's in alignment with the new energy that's coming into the planet, where people are feeling like they really are being called to a purpose. They're being called in to make a difference in the world. They really want to kind of upgrade the consciousness. So we're kind of expanding on this base of energy anatomy and energy healing and the understanding of the subtle realms in an expanding universe. So the moon sessions themselves work with the ability to see how the universal co-creative forces are kind of working on their own, the life cycles of the planets, the life cycles of the universe, and how that's being mirrored in our own individual process. So each time we meditate on the new moon, we're calling in intentions, we're calling in what's kind of up for us in our life. It gives us a time to reflect on what's going on, and where do we feel called intuitively to focus our attention during the new moon, which is actually a time of refresh and renewal, as bringing in energy. So we start with that, and with each of the archetypes of the cycles. So we're coming up on the new moon in Taurus, working with the consciousness of Taurus and all the energy that brings in as a time of reflecting on that and grounding into that to become more aware of subconscious processes, subconscious energy that is ready to be surfaced and observed, to help facilitate growth and transformation. So if you caught my Crafting Intentions Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, I talked a lot about how to work with structured intuition to create a kind of a container to harness your intentions and direct it. And I kind of gave like a generic kind of framework for that, and we're going to work with that specifically with the energy of Taurus. So if you're new to working with intentions, we're going to work with a little bit of a resource as like a foundation. So there's a nice book that you can find online called New Moon Astrology by Jan Spiller, and she's done a very great job of thoroughly explaining the consciousness of each of the 12 signs of the zodiac, and what the consciousness brings in during each of the new moon cycles. So I highly recommend picking that up if you're curious at all about making a regular practice. She does a really good job of outlining, how to set an intention and how to work with the moon energy productively. It's where I started, 10 years ago, working with this myself. And then through that and working in groups, we kind of developed it and built on that a little bit more. So in her book, we want to look at her suggestions for the Taurus consciousness. So, and you're going to see me look down because I have my notes. I want to make sure that I get everything that we need to cover tonight. So Taurus ruling money, sensual pleasure, contentment, perseverance, patience, self-worth, and releasing stubbornness. So those are the kind of the consciousness energy frequencies of Taurus. Now, that's not an exhaustive list. Those are her suggestions. For me, I keep it a little bit more simple. So I work with persistent self-acceptance and sensual pleasure. And you can work with, I think of the energy of Taurus as being able to work with intentions, taking a bigger goal and bringing it into a more practical realm. Taurus is ruled by the earth element, the practical element. And so taking some larger goal and breaking it into, yes, Patty, it's Jan Spiller, Janspiller, Jan Spiller, New Moon Astrology. And you can get that on Amazon, on Kindle. And you can get it on Kindle or you can get it in paperback. So yeah, hopefully you got it the second time around. So yeah, working with that earth energy of Taurus, taking larger goals and breaking them into smaller steps. So if there's something that you've been working on and you're not feeling like you have progress, you're welcome, Patty. Then, maybe the new moon in Taurus is a good time to say, you know what, I've been trying to manifest this new home. It's not coming together for me. So, how can I look at this in a smaller scale? Where can I scale this back and work with a smaller intention where I might start to make some headway? So we take the wider lens, and then as you start to work with it, you can start to hone it in on really specific subsets of things. So this is a really good time to do that if you have something that you're already working on. It's a really good time to work with improving your patience, and yes, releasing stubbornness I have found to be a very, in alignment with Taurus, a good time to work with that. So what I recommend to start is, whatever you might already connect to in the energy of Taurus or from any of these suggestions. What I would recommend is really starting either with something that you already know that you're excited to work with, that you're really wanting to bring into your life, and then see where that fits in these categories, right? And then see how you can refine it based on the categories. Or if you don't have anything that you're already working on, you can start to, if you don't have anything that you're already working on, then you can start to look at this list, and then intuitively something might jump out at you. Like, you know what? I don't really know what it is yet, but releasing stubbornness is jumping out at me. So let me look at that a little bit more and look at my life and see, specifically where that might want to go. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to work with a very specific example that's in alignment with what I've offered as a good container for your crafting intentions, which is, make sure I get everything on the list. We worked with making sure you have a clear intention that's expressed in language that's positive and affirms what you desire, and you want to add or something better. So Jan Spiller's book is a great example. She has all these wonderful intentions that she suggests, and they're in the language of I want, I wish for. And that's a good start to even be able to express that you have a desire to wish for something is very powerful. A lot of people feel afraid to ask for what they want. They feel stifled, or it brings up feelings of selfishness. It brings up a lot of energy of resistance for a lot of people. So it's a good place to start. But I think when we talk about, where does the universal co-creative language respond to you, it responds in the now, it responds in the yes, it responds in that place and that quality where you're able to connect in a frequency way, in a resonance way, that it's already there. So if you're meditating on the intention of I wish for, you're probably feeling an excitement for something that is not already there, that's without your reach, right? Something in the future or something outside of your sphere. So we might be inadvertently engaging the energy of pushing something away, just not even being aware of it. Good morning, Vicki. So what I suggest is bringing the phrasing of your intention into the place of it's already happened. So whatever feels comfortable for you. Sometimes you can put it in the now and it feels a little bit forced. It doesn't feel authentic. So you want to work with it until it feels right for you. It feels like when you read that intention or you sit with that intention, that you can connect to the experience of having it in that moment in your visualization or in your experience. So then what happens is you start to vibrate and resonate at the frequency of the receiving of the gift, right? The feeling that you want to have, and that becomes a beacon that goes out, and the universal co-creative forces suddenly know what you're asking for on a vibrational level. That's their language. We have a lot of information in our senses that may not resonate out exactly in the way that the universal forces speaks. So we're working more with vibrational frequency. So I suggest taking, if you're working with her book, any of her suggestions and then just translating it into something that you already have. So the second thing is you want to work with an intention that's appropriate for getting results. So we work with target practice. We're working with, how can I attune my intention and my awareness to get a result to come back to me, whether that means that it's the exact thing that I desire, or if it's if it's just some kind of give me some feedback about where I stand on this matter. So either one of those is powerful because it's going to bring something back to you that then you can work with. So if you meditate on something that you want to manifest and then some really unexpected Yes, exactly. We're working with the feeling state. Yes, David, that's exactly right. We're going to work with the feeling that arises with success, because then that creates a different frequency of your field, and that then the universe can call in energy, information, resources to help bring you into that state in the long term. So yes, we want to work with something that is, what I recommend is low stakes, low attachment, low desirability, so that you can really bring something in. Sometimes when we have a high attachment value, it's so when we have a high attachment value, then it makes it a little bit more challenging to bring it in, because sometimes our attachments can push it away. Sometimes what our highest manifesting potential is to actually move into a different relationship with our reality. So we might be desiring something that is really out of alignment with where we're headed to go in our manifesting potential. So David, I actually have no idea what those references are. So I work with, I don't know if you caught the first part of the presentation here, but I work with alchemy and manifestation. So I work with a human energy system as a liquid crystalline matrix. Yeah, and we working with frequencies of vibration to call in energy and information to us to work with self-mastery. So we work with autonomy and sovereignty, and really awakening the part of us that is our self-teacher. So the conversation, hi Lorena. So the conversation here tonight is how to work with that co-creatively with the moon energy. So the third part of our intention is we want to work with an intention with trackable specific outcomes. So we want to set a container that has some kind of time frame or some kind of a specific trackable result. So what I want to work with the new moon in Taurus is money. That's a really easy container to work with. I'm just going to use it as an example here that hopefully will inspire you when you're crafting your own, to kind of get a feeling for how this works. So the suggestion that, hi Stephen, the suggestion that Jan makes for money that I thought was really great for what we're doing here tonight is one that says, I want to attract and purchase the right blank something for me at a price I can afford. So Taurus rules the consciousness of accumulation of possessions. So we would talk about, hey, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car. That's a really specific thing. And so what we want to take with this baseline of hers and create something very, very specific that we can really lock onto and imagine. So let's tailor this and make it a little bit more powerful according to this outline that I have of how to really hone in and tune in and target your intention. So let's take the first thing. We want to choose an item. So let's choose something that we really are wanting to accumulate. So I'm gonna work with the example of you want to buy a house. Okay, so this is something that you've been working on. You want to purchase a house. So then we take this generic phrase and then we say, I want to attract and purchase the right home for me at a price I can afford. Okay, so that's a good start. So for part two, we want to take out the want. We want to bring it into the now. We want to make it real. So this is where you get really invested. You get really specific. You want to visualize the house that you want. You know, maybe you have a specific style of house or a location, how many rooms, how many acreage, you know, this sort of thing. Like you want to visualize that home, and then you want to think about how much money you have to spend, like what's your budget, you know, the price that you can afford. So you want to say, I have successfully attracted and purchased the perfect home for me at my target price, and you want to say the target price. So let's say the target price is $150,000. Okay, so I have successfully attracted and purchased the perfect home for me at my target price of $150,000 in a timeline of 8 months. So I want this done 8 months from now. I want to have purchased my home and be moving into it. So whatever that means for you, however specific you can get in a way that feels achievable, that it's going to make it easy for you to connect to that feeling of this is totally possible. And then you want to sit with that and visualize you there you are, you're in that house. It's the house that you've been looking for. You're living in the area that you want to live in. You are in your budget, and just that feeling state. So that's the beginning of setting your intention. So from there, that's where the good stuff happens. Okay. So 9 times out of 10, when I work with people on an intention, the first intention that you come up with and you sit with, Carrie, that's a great question. I'm going to come back to it toward the end if you can hang on, or if you have to skip out before I get around to it, I will. There will be a replay later. So Carrie Ann asked, "How would you manifest moving across the country?" Completely relevant, right, to this example. So what you want to do is sit with you want to sort of the drafting phase of your intention. You want to write it and rewrite it until when you read it, you can actually sit with that feeling that it's there. So not a single resistance, not a single doubt comes up for you when it's in a language and it's in a time frame, and all the visualization is set up in a way that you can really step into that space that you've created energetically and vibrationally, and to the feeling space of that, because we're trying to get into, like, what's it going to take for me to feel success? Because that's when the universe is like, hey, somebody just showed up on the radar. We need to bring in, and, all this creative energy is coming in and we want to play with it. And we're going to help this person create this reality. So you're going to sit with that, and hi, Sosa. Yeah, that's the first part. And then once you get that, you're going to sit in that. And that's where the magic happens. You sit in that space that you've created and you feel all of those good feelings. That's when your beacon goes up, and we're going to take this and work with it in a meditation to suffuse all of the frequencies of our body as best we can on all dimensions of reality. So we are multi-dimensional, multiplanar beings. What we experience through the 5 senses in consensus reality is one slice of the whole picture. So instead of having to kind of dissect it like I did in the beginning, that would probably scramble your brain and make you feel like you're trying to solve a calculus problem, the way to access the multidimensional reality is through the breath, is through awareness, is through that feeling space. The emotional body is the call to action for the co-creative forces. So let's work with that. So I want you to sit with that. Now just play along for a minute. You may not. Mari, this is going to be perfect. I'm so glad that you're here. This is perfect for you. Yes. And this is the perfect time to be asking for the accumulation of possessions. If there's something you've been trying to bring into your life, a new job, a house, a car, mortgage payments, college payments, college tuition, whatever it is, this is the time. New moon in Taurus is the time to meditate on it. So come play with me for a little bit. Maybe it's not the house. You might want to fill in the blank of whatever it is that you would like to accumulate during this moon cycle. Okay, so I'm going to sit with this wonderful visualization that we have here. I have successfully attracted and purchased the perfect home for me at my target price of $150,000. Really good deal. And in a timeline of 8 months, or something better. So we always add or something better so that we let the co-creative forces know the feeling is what I want to feel. I want to feel success. So if I'm focusing on the wrong things, bring me information, bring me results that's going to show me where I need to focus my attention. And they're very kind and very gentle about this. And I will just say to you, if you get results that don't feel nice, you can always say, can I get this information in a nicer way? They're very responsive to requests, okay? Because the universal co-creative forces are yes. And sometimes they get so excited about the change, they will just come in kind of like snowballing. And even though it's there to support you, sometimes it can feel overwhelming. You can always say, hey, thank you for the feedback. I'd like to have this information in a nicer way. Trust me, it will soften a little bit for you. So, okay. So we're going to do a little meditation on this to help suffuse the body with this frequency. So I want you to just drop into that space of this meditation. So whatever you'd like to manifest, working with the specific intention, or if you want to just play along in a playful way and just visualize that house, even if you already own your own house, like what if you got a new house, so just sitting with that perfect house is there, and you got it at your perfect price, and you got it in the perfect timing for you, and there you are, you're standing in it, it's all in motion, you're moving in, it's just exactly perfect for you, and just feel that feeling. Just drop into that feeling space. And just let those feelings show up wherever they show up in your body or in your sphere of awareness, in this little bubble that we've created with our visualization. Just dropping into that space and just notice where that sensation of success and those good feelings arise within you. And then you're going to tune your mind's eye, the part of you that can watch that, into the space of your being, into the space where that feeling is showing up, and you're going to start to breathe into that space, and you're working with your breath like a paintbrush. So you're going to move your breath into that frequency, and you're going to start to sweep your breath and start to move that feeling through your body into the space around you, into this visual field that you've created. So whether that's in the physical room that you're in, or if you're still in your visualization room, just breathing and sweeping and just having that feeling almost like a bright, vibrant color that you're sweeping and penetrating and suffusing every part of you, every cell, every molecule, and all the space between with this frequency. And I'm going to guide you through some really specific patterns. If you feel inspired to move on your own, just go with whatever is showing up for you. I'm going to give you a little bit of a methodical practice here so you can start to organize yourself if that feels helpful. So we're going to start to sweep vertically. So from wherever you are, you're going to start to paint and move that feeling state up from wherever it is, up higher, 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 as high as you could possibly go. And when you've reached the top, you're going to sweep back down, painting and suffusing your being with that feeling of success. And you're going to continue in these vertical sweeping motions until the strokes get longer and longer and wider, and you're starting to paint and suffuse vertically your entire being. These nice big vertical strokes, and you're just suffusing yourself in that frequency of that feeling state of being in that place of receiving the gift of your wish, of your intention. Beautiful. And now we start with the vertical sweeping, and now we're going to actually sweep it side to side. So as you're sweeping your breath like a paintbrush, you're starting to move and sweep and suffuse that feeling state side to side. It might be in your physical body or just beyond. And you might move up or down and letting those strokes get bigger and bigger and wider until you're completely sweeping horizontally your whole body and all the space around you. And I encourage you as you practice to really stay with that feeling state. So, I'm giving you these really big directions. The most important thing is you stay connected to the feeling state and move that feeling state through. So if this part's feeling challenging, you just let it go, and you want to keep connected to that feeling of success. Okay? Great. Good. Okay, and now the third direction that we're going to go is in a circular direction, clockwise. So you're going to shoot your awareness out in front of you directly, and you're going to move your breath clockwise to your right, moving all the way behind you and all the way around. So it's a little, the breath is like a big paintbrush that's from the center of your body out as far as you can go, and you're going to sweep and paint your entire field with that feeling. So you're going to stay with that feeling state, and you're attuning and aligning all the vibrations of your being with this desired outcome. Okay? And remember that that frequency there is what you're wishing for or something better. Okay? And every breath and every sweep should feel yummier and yummier. And as you're breathing, just letting those feelings rise and letting all the energy move and shift and change. And then when you're ready to close your practice, you're going to take a few breaths in that vertical direction, and this time with a sense of releasing any frequencies that are in a disharmony with this new state. So focusing on your exhale and letting any energy that's ready to be released to go out through the soles of the feet, and just see the center of the earth opening up and receiving that energy that's ready to go. Just taking a few grounding breaths with that. And that is how you meditate on your manifesting intention. So that's how you call in that frequency of, you're trying to bring yourself into resonance with the frequency of the thing that you want to call in. So you're saying, hey, this is the feeling I want to, this is what I want. This is the feeling that I'm going to have. You don't have to name that feeling. You want to feel that feeling. And then you meditate on that feeling. And as you're meditating, the whole multidimensional universe is recalibrating and bringing you into alignment with the resonant frequency of either the thing that you're asking for or the thing that resonates with the feeling state, right? So it's as simple as that. And that in itself is a very powerful new moon ritual that you can do. Just setting an intention. Thank you, Julia. Just setting an intention and then meditating on it. You are your own sacred space, and the meditation rituals are very powerful. You're calling in all the forces of nature and working with the sacred architecture of the body to be in conversation with the creative energy of the universe. So let's see. Yes. So it can be as simple as that. With the moon sessions, I'll make a suggestion, and then I'll talk a little bit about what my moon sessions are. So what I would also suggest, if you're going to do this as your own new moon ritual, is after you've meditated, so I'm doing this seated. You can do your meditation seated, or you can do it lying down. And what I would recommend is, after you've done a few grounding breaths, is just sit back in a receptive state and just feel that energy and let it unwind, and really bathe yourself. So you let go of any intentions, let go of any breathing or sweeping or trying to make anything happen, and just moving into a receptive state. And just enjoying that for, a good 10 or 15 minutes. A lot of times once you've, for those of us who meditate regularly and have strong intuition, or are looking to develop our intuition, a lot of guidance will come in that receptive state about, what are our action steps, or sometimes we'll get information almost going into like a dreamlike state of numbers or images, or you might actually end up having a visualization, so that what that becomes is messages, so that as you get up and live your life and the reality starts to come toward you, there are these little, hi Andrea, you're welcome. As you're moving forward and the results are coming toward you, you'll get these little signposts, and you'll go, oh yeah, you know what, that came up in my meditation. This is telling me that this is my yes, this is my gateway, this is the direction. And so just sitting in a receptive state after your meditation can be a really powerful integration period, where a lot of insight and intuition can come to you. So it can be that simple. Now, with the moon sessions, which is a service that I offer on the Healing Crystal site, you can do 1 month, or you can do a monthly subscription. What we do is this working with intention and meditating. And then what I do as the facilitator is an energy healing. And so what I will do is bring in information from all these 5 planes of reality to help anchor and organize our energy, because a lot of times, as much as we desire change, even positive change is stress. And I find that, hi Karen, you're welcome. So what I find is that working with doing the energy healing, which helps organize the energy a little bit more, takes some of the stress off. So it just can be very supportive and bring in a lot of organization for that vortex that's being created between you and the outcome. So that's what we do. And all the things that come up in the session are very specific to the people who are in the group. So it's not a general reading, it's for the people. So you get a chance to actually send me what you're working on, and I get to hold that space while I do the meditation and healing session. So we do that on the new moon, and we do that on the full moon. You're welcome, Julie. Yes, thank you. So that's what I have to share. I hope this is really helpful to you. It's my pleasure to share this wisdom and share these practices. I've found this specific way of working with intentions is really quite potent. And again, like I said, you know, it will give you instantaneous results. You may not get the new house tomorrow, but you're going to get feedback, you're going to get information that's going to really attune your intuition and really bring you into an empowered place where you feel like, you know, this is possible, and you're getting guideposts of where, you know, where's the next place that I need to go? What's my next action step? Am I attuning to, do I need to refocus my desire? Do I need to refine my intentions? So you get a lot of information and support from the universal forces working this way. That's my experience. So yes, so if I talked a little bit about crafting intentions. If you look in the post here, there's a link where you can get information about a little bit more elaboration on how to craft intentions. There's a lot of information there about my programs, some videos on YouTube that I just posted today talking about the Radiant Human Meditation, the RHM, and my healing crystal site. If you sign up for the crafting intentions, you get a free download, and then you get a special offer. If you decide to subscribe to the moon sessions for a year, I'll give you half price on the year plus a 90-minute birth chart reading. So it's a pretty awesome deal. And if you're interested, you can just click on that link or come find me on Facebook, send me a message, find me on my website. I'm everywhere. And really, really thank you all. It sounds like from the feedback, everybody's really enjoying the practice. I'm really glad this is helpful. I'm just going to look back through the comments and see here. There were just a couple of questions about specific things. So, oh yeah, how would you manifest moving across the country? So Carrie Ann, I don't know if you're still with me, but that is, I didn't want to answer you then because I kind of cover that a little bit in the talk. So a lot of what this practice does is it takes the burden off of you trying to figure it out or problem solve. So when we work with the vibrational universe, we come into resonance with the feeling state. The universe is like, this person wants to feel this way. It's going to pay more attention to the feeling state than to the exact outcome. So it doesn't mean that it ignores the outcome. So if you're really attached to, for instance, for whatever reason, you have to move across the country, it's out of your hands. You know, let's say you have a family member who lives across the country and they need help and you need to go across the country. Then what you would do is meditate on the feeling of, you know, I got there, it was easy, I felt supported, you know, this is about me loving my family member and really wanting to be there. So really sitting with that, and you can craft an intention around that. I'm kind of making this up. I don't know why you might want to move across the country, but just as an example, of something that needs to happen, right? So this isn't like oh, I wish I could move across the country. This is like, actually, I need to move across the country. It needs to look this way. It needs to be specifically this part of the country. Like, that matters. Then you want to really hone in on that specific information, hone in on that specific location. If it's your parent, you know, imagine yourself being in your parent's home, taking care of them, helping out, whatever it is. You want to fill your sphere of influence, is what I call it, your sort of visualization bubble. You want to feel it with all that specific information, and then sit with what that would feel like if you got there. And you got there in a stress-free way, in a supported way, where opportunities really opened up for you. You want to sit with that resonant frequency, so the universe will hear those prayers, you know, through that resonant vibration. So then what will happen after that is, you know, someone will start talking about, you'll suddenly hear people start talking about opportunities, or maybe you'll get a letter in the mail, or you'll get some kind of windfall, or you know, things will start to open up for you. And the key is to just breathe and pay attention and notice where things are coming in, as information of where your next steps are. So it takes a lot of the work, like I said before, it takes a lot of the work out of trying to figure something out or make it happen. It really, that's why I like that word co-create. It's not codependent. You know, it's not, oh, the universe abandoned me, or I have to rescue myself, or, you know, it takes you out of that whole dynamic and puts you in an empowered co-creative dynamic where the universe is meeting you where, you know, where it's meeting you halfway. That's what I was trying to say. So hopefully that helped. What I also say is, if you just have an idea that you want to move across the country, you can just meditate on that. Sometimes we think that we have to solve our problems by leaving, or, you know, going away, changing our lives. And sometimes when we're in that mindset, when we meditate on it, what might come back to us is information and opportunities that kind of lift the burdens that make us feel like we have to run. So sometimes the solutions can come in these very unexpected and loving, supportive ways that help us grow and move into a different state. So hopefully, Carrie Ann, that answered your question. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really happy to support and share this work. And have a wonderful evening.